ini sebenarnya dimulakan dengan beberapa catatan saya semasa di penjara Sungai Buloh. Kita relax, tenang, kita tulis. Ingat Azizah sikit, tulis banyak. Kemudian saya bicara secara terang mengenai undang, ideas, sastra, hubungan masyarakat Melayu, Cina, India, masalah Sabah, Sarawak. Tapi idea, saya bukan cerita saya, tapi banyak tentang pengalaman saya. Kali pertama di penjara tahun 74 kerana bantu orang miskin balik. Kemudian naik sebagai menteri, menteri. Dapat masuk lagi. Itu pengalaman, tapi saya cerita banyak tentang ideas. It's not an autobiography. It's not a story about Anwar per se. But you see the decades of development of ideas, essentially from the 70s. What were the books that gave such a compelling influence on my thinking? What's good for the nation in the 70s? Then you see in the 80s, you're in the government. What are the challenges? The issues of corruption, racism, religious extremism. How do you deal with it? How do you get Malaysians to work together, love the nation? What about post-colonialism? We all hate colonial masters, but do you really understand what colonialism is about? They control your minds, they control your system. Should you be truly independent? How do you regain your composure and your dignity as a nation? How do you build this nation with such complexities? Different races, different religion. What's unique about Malaysia? How is it that we can survive with all these differences? How do we then take up measures to ensure that we continue to survive? Then the 90s. Then, of course, another prison term. Then what are the issues? And then, of course, the new challenges. People say Z-Geist, which means the challenges of the times. When I grew up, there was no digital need for digital transformation. Nobody talks about energy transition except for the Club of Rome, Only One Earth. But those are the books that were read, but it does not permeate into the ground, and it was not taken up by the political leaders. Political elites sometimes are the last to think about change, about reform. It is just about power. And how do then we change this? How do you get the people to understand that corruption is a menace, that it will destroy societies, billions lost? And then I also admit, well, it is not easy when you do confront this. I thought everybody was supportive. Not necessarily so, because the corrupt are oftentimes very rich, very powerful, very influential. Now, how do you get the young to understand, appreciate this, work together as a team? But this is therefore towards the end about digital challenges of AI, about values. Do you just have expertise on AI and forget that you are a human being, that you have feelings? You have to have understand. So, and a technology, a machine cannot decide for us on in everything. They can decide on a lot of things. They have the expertise and comprehension, but then they should not decide about the values. How do you respect? Why do I promote the dialogue between Islam and Confucianism, for example? All these things in the jottings, I do explain. I don't remember all because this is a work of more than a decade, jottings, and I'm not a good. I'm not good at having that discipline of writing. But so early this year, when I had to struggle, agreement with the publisher, I must finish. I had to do that. Azizah did complain. He says that at my age I shouldn't be working too hard and sleeping very late and ignoring her. But so that's why I said my first book is a renaissance dedicated to my parents. This book, Rethinking Ourselves, special dedication to my lovely wife Azizah. That's all I have to say. It's not a speech, I just want to talk about the book. Now, with this Hearst publication in London, Penguin, now this one in Asia, and Hong Kong University Press, then of course I will get a lot of royalty. Alright? So let me declare now that every cent of the royalty will be spent on poor students in this country. From the initial projection, it's going to be quite substantial. Because the books are quite expensive. It's not, I don't determine the price, the publisher. And thank you again, Tuan Sri.